The penthouse on the top floor of One Vanderbilt glittered like a crown above Manhattan, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the city that never slept. Inside, the air smelled of Tom Ford oud wood and old money. Christian Sterling, billionaire CEO of Sterling Enterprises, Mafia king of the East Coast shadows, and the most possessive husband alive, stood at the bar cart pouring a 1945 Chateau d'Yquem into a single baccarat glass. His charcoal Tom Ford suit hugged every lethal inch of him, the kind of body that looked carved from sin and vengeance. Across the marble expanse, his little wife Anastasia Steele, honor to the world, baby girl only to him, curled on the dove-gray sectional, scrolling through her phone with that sunshine smile that made him want to burn the planet down if anyone else ever saw it. She's mine. Every breath, every heartbeat, every flutter of those lashes belongs to me alone. They hadn't started as a love story. Their families had gone bankrupt overnight. Debts piled so high the banks laughed. The Steele and Sinclair girls had been delivered to the Sterling brothers like payment in flesh. Anna to Christian, the older, colder one. Avery Sinclair to Damian Sterling, the younger, stormier one. Two golden cages in the same gilded tower. At first it was bearable. Private jets whenever they wanted, black cards with no limit, Cartier dripping from their wrists, Van Cleef clover necklaces resting in the hollows of their throats. The brothers were obsessive alpha males who ruled with iron hands wrapped in velvet, but they never raised those hands in anger. They punished in other ways, silk ties around wrists, belts snapped against palms, walls that suddenly met a soft back when jealousy flared. But the punishments always ended with whispered good girl and a mouth that knew exactly how to ruin and worship in the same breath. Anna and Avery had one rule between them, sisters before misters. Every afternoon they escaped to Sugarfina in Soho for milk tea and gossip, complaining about their possessive husbands who had endless stamina and endless demands. Until Avery stopped laughing mid-sentence one day. "He has a white moonlight coming back," she whispered, fingers white around her cup. "She lands in 3 days." Anna felt ice slide down her spine. Christian didn't have a white moonlight. The man had been celibate as a monk before her. Rumor was not even a female mosquito got near him. But Damian? Everyone knew the story. Years ago, he'd nearly put a ring on someone else's finger before she vanished. Now she was returning, and Avery looked like someone had died. "I think I have to run," Avery said. Anna didn't even hesitate. "Then I run with you. Touch her and die." That was Christian's rule about Anna. Apparently it worked both ways. They spent nights planning like spies. Anna made color-coded PowerPoints titled Operation Birdcage Break. Avery handled fake IDs and untraceable tickets. They lied about headaches, stomach aches, fevers. Anything to keep the Sterling brothers out of their beds long enough to think. The night of the Welcome Back Gala for Damian's almost bride, the plan was perfect. Avery picked a screaming fight with Damian and locked herself in her room. Anna pretended to be too sick for the gala, tears perfectly timed. Christian's hand had lingered on her forehead, eyes dark with worry and suspicion, but he left for the plaza with his brother. The second the Maybach disappeared past the private gates, the girls moved. For Louis Vuitton trunks, because even running away deserved luxury, were dragged down the service elevator while the staff ate dinner. They bickered loudly about throwing away designer bags so the maids wouldn't suspect. The second they hit the sidewalk, a waiting black G-Wagon whisked them toward Teterboro. Freedom tasted like cold night air and revenge. They made it all the way to the private terminal, hearts hammering, already stripping out of recognizable clothes in the restroom, when the door opened. Christian Sterling stood there in his gala tuxedo, onyx cufflinks glinting, expression carved from Arctic ice. Anna froze, hoodie half over her head. He didn't say a word at first, just walked forward, slow, deliberate, the way a wolf approaches something it already owns. One hand reached out, caught the edge of her hoodie, and yanked it down. His fingers closed around her jaw, tilting her face up. Again with the fake sick act, "Baby girl?" His voice was velvet over steel. "All those pretty tears so I'd leave you home. Clever. But you're mine to ruin, Anastasia. Did you really think I'd let you fly away? She's mine." No ocean is wide enough, no runway long enough. She wears my ring, my marks, my name in her blood. Behind him, Damien appeared dragging Avery by the wrist, her eyes red but defiant. The flight that was supposed to take them to an island with no extradition turned into the Sterling private Gulfstream, flying them straight back to Manhattan. Punishment was creative. Christian didn't raise his voice. He simply carried Anna to the bedroom with the red silk ropes already waiting on the nightstand, the one she both hated and craved. He tore the hoodie from her body with one rip, the sound loud in the silent room. Belt unbuckled. Palm met skin until she sobbed good girl against his throat and promised never again. Damien was no gentler. Rumor was Avery couldn't sit for 2 days. The next morning Anna limped to Avery's room on the 87th floor, legs shaking, throat raw. She pressed a black Amex into her best friend's hand. Take this. Transfer everything. Go. This time you go alone. I'll find you when it's safe. Avery cried. I can't leave you with him. You have to. 2 birds together are too bright a target. 1 little canary? He'll never see it coming. But Christian Sterling was not a man who lost. That night Anna tried to sneak into his office for Avery's passport. She wore nothing but his oversized Tom Ford shirt and a prayer. Instead, she found both brothers drinking Macallan 25, talking about how their women kept trying to fly. The door opened before she could retreat. Christian's eyes raked over her bare legs. Looking for something, little wife? Cornered, desperate. She did the only thing left. She shoved him against the wall and kissed him like it was war. All teeth and tongue, and please let her go. He let her lead for exactly 4 seconds before his hand fisted in her hair, and he took over, kissing her until her knees buckled. New strategy? He growled against her mouth. Seducing me for passports? Cute. She tried tears next. Then bargaining. Then threats. He listened to all of it. Then carried her to bed and proved exactly why running was pointless. She woke up marked, owned, and still caged. But Christian wasn't cruel without cause. When she burned with fever the next night, stress, guilt, and cold airport air, he panicked in that quiet way of his. Stayed up wiping her forehead with Hermes towels dipped in Evian, muttering mine, mine, mine like a prayer. I end her delirium, she begged. Let Avery go, please. He went still. Then, voice soft and dangerous, only the passport. Nothing else. Promised. It was enough. Under Christian's watchful eye, Avery slipped away on a midnight flight to an island Christian quietly owned. Because even freedom came with invisible chains, days turned into weeks. Anna waited for the rage that never came. Instead, there were roses on the grand piano every morning. A new Van Cleef bracelet for every night she didn't try the balcony again, and slow, possessive sex in the back of the Maybach, just because he missed her during a board meeting. One night on the rooftop terrace, city lights glittering below like scattered diamonds, Christian dropped to one knee beside the infinity pool. In his hand was a 20-carat graph, pink and perfect and terrifying. Marry me. For real this time. Not because of debts or contracts. Because you're mine, Anastasia. And I'm yours. Say yes, baby girl. She stared at him, heart hammering. You scared the hell out of me, Christian Sterling. Good. Now say yes before I put you over my knee right here. She launched herself at him instead. The wedding was held on his yacht off Capri. White dress by Givenchy, Avery as maid of honor flown in on the family jet, Damien smirking like he'd won the lottery because Avery had come back on her own, whispering that white moonlights were just stories Damien told to save face after being left at the altar. Turned out the brothers had both been obsessively in love from the start. One look across a crowded room years ago, and that was it. Done, ruined, obsessed. 2 weddings in 1 summer. 2 possessive husbands. 2 golden cages that suddenly felt a lot like thrones. And every night, in the master suite with the red room just down the hall, Christian would pin Anna to the mattress, lips against her ear, and remind her, you ran once, little wife. Try it again, and I'll chain you to this bed with Cartier gold and fuck you until the only word you remember is my name. She'd smile, sunshine breaking through the storm, and whisper, good luck with that, Mr. Sterling. I'm faster than I looked. He'd laugh, dark and wicked, and proceed to prove her wrong for hours. Because she was his. And he was hers. And some cages? They're built for two.